Hi guys, this is Math Lesson 12-12, Problem Solving Work Backward. If you'll be on page 543. At the top it says Miguel goes to the library for 1 hour after school. Then he bikes home in 15 minutes. He spends 45 minutes working on homework before he has dinner at 5:30 p.m. What time did Miguel get to the library? You can work backward to solve the problem. First, find the time Miguel started his homework. Count back 45 minutes from 5:30 p.m. So I set my clock to 5:30, just like the clock in your book is at 5:30. Okay? So it's first telling you to count back 30 minutes from 5:30. So we're going to take our minute hand and count backwards by fives. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So then we have to count back 15 more minutes because it's 45 minutes. 5, 10, 15. So 45 minutes before 5:30 is 4:45. Next, count back 15 minutes from 4:45 p.m. to find the time Miguel left the library, because it tells us that it takes him 15 minutes to ride his bike home. So we're going to count back an additional 15 minutes. 5, 10, 15. So now we're at 4:30. So 4:30 is when he left the library. 1 hour before that is when he got to the library. So we're going to go back a whole hour. And we're at 3:30. So Miguel got to the library at 3:30 p.m. On page 544, we have some practice problems. So let's do these together. Read and solve each problem. You can work backward to help solve some of the problems. I'm going to move this out of our way for right now. So number 1, Nathan had some money to start. Then he gets $35 for his birthday. He spends $42 on a trip to a museum. Now he has $17 left. How much money did Nathan start with? Okay, well, we know that he had some to start. Then he got $35 for his birthday. Okay, so he had some plus $35. Okay, then he spent $42 and he ends with 17. Okay, so we're going to work from here up to find this missing number, to find out how much he started with. So we're going to take what he had to begin with, or what he ended with, and we're going to add the 42. Okay, so 59. And then we're going to subtract the 35. So we're just doing the opposite of the signs. This is your missing number. So he had $24 to start with. Okay, so again, we are just working backwards. So we're starting with what he had left, and we're doing the opposite. So he spent 42, but to figure it out, we're going to add the 42, and we got 59. He got $35, which is a positive, but we're going to do a minus because we're working backwards. And that gave us the 24. So that's what he started with. Number 2, Giselle's bike lock uses a 3-digit number. The ones digit is 3 less than the hundreds digit. The hundreds digit is 7. The tens digit is an odd number. What are the possible bike lock numbers? Okay, so we know that the hundreds place is a 7. Okay? And it tells us that the tens place is an odd number. And the ones place is 3 less than the hundreds digit. So 7 minus 3 is 4. So we know that all the combinations we can make, the hundreds digit's going to be a 7, the ones digit's going to be a 4. So we just have to fill in odd numbers. Okay? So 714, 734, 754, 774, 794. Because 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9 are your odd numbers. Number 3, Mia is working on a school project. It takes her 1 1/2 hours to write a report. Then she spends 45 minutes making a graph for the report. If Mia finishes at 2:15 p.m., what time did she start? So we're going to get our trusty clock back out here. Okay. Get my little table. All right, so it says that she finishes at 2:15. Okay. Oh my goodness. I'm breaking stuff, guys. Okay. So 2:15. This is when she finished. So we're going to work backwards. Okay. All right. So she spent 45 minutes making a graph. So let's go backwards 45 minutes. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. So we're at 1:30 at this point. Then it says that it took her 1 1/2 hours to write a report. So let's go back an hour. So 1 hour, so we're at 12:30. It was 1 1/2. So half an hour is 30 minutes. We're going to go back 30. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So she started her project at 12 o'clock p.m. Make sure you put the p.m. Okay? Number 4, explain how you found the time Mia started her project. Well, we just work backwards. So we're going to put, I started at 2:15. Okay, that was the time she finished her project. And counted backward 45 minutes. Then counted backward 1 1/2 hours. Okay. On page 545, it's the same example about Miguel, so we are going to skip over that and look at the practice problems on page 546. Read and solve each problem. You can work backward to help solve some of the problems. So number 1, after he wakes up, Eduardo spends 30 minutes getting ready for school in the morning. Then he spends 25 minutes eating breakfast and 15 minutes walking to school. If he gets to school at 8 o'clock a.m., what time did Eduardo wake up? So we are going to get our clock out and just work backwards just like we did on the previous problem. All right, so I'm going to set my clock here to 8 o'clock. That's the time he got to school. So he spent 15 minutes walking to school. So we're going to count back 15. 5, 10, 15. So we are at 7:45. He ate breakfast for 25 minutes. So we're going to count back 25 minutes. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So now we're at 7:20. He spends 30 minutes getting ready. So let's count back 30. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So now we are at 6:50 a.m. Make sure you put the a.m. Number 2, a pet store orders 500 bags of dog treats. At the end of the first week, there are 386 bags left. The next week, they sell 115 bags. How many bags are left now? How many bags of dog treats were sold in all? So let me move our clock here. All right, so they ordered 500 bags. Okay. First week, there were 386 left. Okay. The next week, they sold 115 bags. So what we're going to do is we're going to subtract these two numbers to find out how many they sold that first week. We can't do 0 minus 6, can't borrow from a 0. Okay, so we regroup. 10 minus 6 is 4. 9 minus 8 is 1. 4 minus 3 is 1. So we know that they sold 114 that first week. Okay. The next week they sell 115 bags. Okay. So we're going to take 114 plus 115 to 229. That's how many they sold. Okay, both weeks. Okay, so that's one of your answers. So now we can take this number, so they had 500 to begin with, and we're going to subtract the total number that they sold, 229. So we do all of our regrouping, and then we can subtract. So we know that they have 271 left. Okay, so that's one of your answers. And they sold 229 bags. Okay, so that was like a several step problem. Hopefully you were able to follow with that. We took our number that we started with and we subtracted the number that they had left. That gave us this first number, 114. So that told us that's how many they sold the first week. Okay. After the second week, we know that they had sold total of 229 because we added 115 is what they sold the second week and the first week. So that's what they sold altogether. Then we can take this number and subtract it from 500, which is what they started with, and that's where we got 271. So that's how many bags of dog treats they have left. Number 3, Omar has some coins to start. He finds 1 quarter and 3 pennies. Then he spends 45 cents on a juice box. Now, Omar has 18 cents. How much money did he have to start? Okay, so again, we got to work backwards. All right, so he has some to start. Okay. He finds 1 quarter and 3 pennies. So a quarter is 25 plus 3 is 28. So he finds 28 cents. Then he spent 45 cents on juice. Now he has 18 cents left. So just like the one we did before, we're going to start here and do the opposite of the signs, and that'll figure out what he started with. Okay? So we're going to take 18 cents plus 45. So 8 plus 5 is 13. 4 plus 2 is, oh, I'm sorry. I just wrote 2 instead of 4 plus 2 is 6. Then we're going to subtract the 28 because we're doing the opposite of the signs. So 13 minus 8, 5. 5 minus 2 is 3. So he had 35 cents to start with. Okay, so we just started at the end and worked backwards. So we had to do the opposite of the signs to get the beginning number. Number 4, an art studio opens with a 1-hour pottery class. Then there is a 45-minute drawing class that ends at 11:15 a.m. What time does the studio open? Let's get our clock back out. All right, so we get 11:15 here. Okay. So the class ends at 11:15. And it was 45 minutes. So let's count back 45 minutes. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. So we are at 10:30. The art studio, then it begins with a 1-hour pottery class. So let's go back a whole hour. So what time does the studio open? 9:30 a.m. Okay. Page 547 and 548 is homework, so please do those 2 pages and I'll check it when I get your packet. Thanks, guys.